You're listening to another ambitious Entrepreneur Network.com podcast, the voice for entrepreneurs and small business. Now, onto the show.
Welcome to the Christian Entrepreneurs Podcast, daily conversations with Christian entrepreneurs to inspire and empower Christian business owners to walk strongly in their faith, while build a thriving business that honors Him in every way. Now, over to your host, Anne-Marie Cross.
And welcome to another episode of the Christian Entrepreneurs Podcast. This is episode 20, and I'm your host, Anne-Marie Cross, podcasting queen and also a brand and communication strategist. Now, my guest today says that without faith in what God has called him to do, he would have quit and missed out on all of the phenomenal opportunities that the Lord has brought his way. Joining me on today's show is Anthony Randolph, and he is originally from Warner Robins, GA, where he lived for 23 years before he met and married his wife, Lauree. They married in 2012 and immediately moved to Lakeland, Florida. Anthony has been passionate about soccer since his father introduced him to the game at a young age. And in 2014, he received his Bachelors of Science in Sport Management from Southeastern University. And it is his passion to use sports to develop people for success on and off the field. Now, the director and CEO, Anthony Randolph, is a player development specialist who enjoys partnering with families in pursuit of their child's goals of receiving a college soccer scholarship or even playing professional soccer. And in his 12 years of developing people, players in Georgia and Florida, Coach Anthony has assisted over 45 players receive collegiate soccer scholarship and one professionally in German. I don't even know how to say that. How do you say that? Bangladesh?
Bundesliga.
Say that again, Anthony.
The Bundesliga.
There you go, that. And his unique skill set assists him in constantly developing skilled people and players of all ages. Now, on today's show, he's going to share something really special and important. Progress over perfection. I think we all need to hear that lesson. The formula to results, he's going to share what that is, as well as faith in the middle, which we know is so very important. So welcome to the show, Coach Anthony.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I am looking forward to it, and I'm excited to share about my story and also just about faith and soccer, how they work together.
Yeah, look, you've got some really impressive background, but what I really love is that a passion that was developed as a child when your father introduced you to soccer. From there was a passion, and that just continued to grow. I mean, how incredible that followed you right from childhood right through to now, what you're doing with other children who are passionate about that sport too. Yes?
Yes, I would definitely agree with that. My dad introduced me to the game, and it was a passion. It was what I did every day. It kept me out of trouble. But also, it was something that was a motivational tool my parents used to help make sure I was doing well academically. Mm-hmm. But also, it was a way of connecting. It was a way of connecting to people, with friends, because most of my friends played soccer, and we all had the vision of playing in college or playing professional and being on TV one day.
Yes.
And so, yeah, that passion that my dad, when he introduced the ball to us, was something that has taken me a lot farther than I ever thought it would.
Yeah, amazing. And tell us, with soccer, as it is known in the US, is that similar to the soccer we play here in Australia as well, or is it a different name? Do you know?
No, you're correct. Soccer, football, it goes by many names, but it's also known as a world's game because it is played all over the world. Mm-hmm. But yes, soccer in the States is the same as it is in pretty much all over the world, known as football or something like that.
Yeah. Here in Australia, you've probably heard of AFL, which is Australian Football League, which is it's completely different to soccer. My son always played soccer as well. And so it's a great game. All of different sports have different skill sets, but the way that you see players maneuver the ball, with their feet, it's just incredible. So, you know, the skills development, and I think as young boys, particularly, I mean, women are playing, young girls are playing, and women are playing soccer too, which is great. But I think, as you said, it kept you out of trouble, kept you focused. And I think now to be able to support other children in learning the same skills, and maybe even children who potentially would have gone the way of you know, not the best path. This passion for football, for soccer, is certainly something that there's a commonality there, and you can certainly encourage and inspire children. Let's talk about progress over perfection. What does that mean for you, and how has that shown up in your life over the years?
I think it's something that has shown up from the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
I was a good player for the town that I lived in, a good soccer player or football player.
Mm.
I was a good player. But one thing that I always strive for was to get better and better.
Yeah.
And I feel like, especially in today's society, it's so easy to look for the perfection that we miss the steps that it takes to get to. And what we really want is the progress.
Yes.
We want the journey more than we want the perfection with the perfect Instagram picture, the perfect Facebook post. So that's something I've kind of had to live my whole life, even with soccer, because I was a player who got injured a lot. Mm-hmm. So I was injury prone, as you would say. And I had three major injuries through my high school years. I broke my leg, my foot, and my ankle. And I had to really learn it. At the time, I didn't know that was what the Lord was teaching me. I thought I was just going through a hard time and I couldn't figure out what was going on.
Yes.
But when I say progress over perfection, is progress is consistent. Perfection is a one-time thing. Well, you might have a perfect shot or a perfect opportunity, but the progress is a lifetime of growing and being consistent, and that is what I mean by progress over perfection. It's not going for the finished article, but going for the journey.
Yeah, such a great lesson. I mean, how many of us in business, we've set our goals, we have our vision, and we're constantly measuring ourselves to that. Now, of course, it is a long way ahead to where we are now. But what you've said is enjoy the journey, because there's so many learnings in that journey. And as a coach, if we're looking at sports, I'm sure if we slow down, learn the techniques, when we have those techniques, then we can continue to learn and grow. Because if we learn the wrong techniques, we're never really going to improve our skill level, are we? Because we're doing it incorrectly. Is that true? Yes?
Absolutely. Absolutely true. And that's what I'm always telling the kids. I'd rather you do it slowly and correctly than do it quickly and incorrect.
Yes.
And because a lot of times we want to jump ahead. Oh, I feel like I have it. But as a coach, the difficult thing that I face in my personal life sometimes is taking the time to actually do it correctly and accept the progress.
Yes.
If it's 1%, you got better today.
Yeah.
And even when dealing with players and working with families, sometimes it's the 1% that adds up to the 1% the next day, that adds up to the 1% that may lead to the 10%, down the road. And that's a journey that I've seen myself grow, but also the players that we get the opportunity to work with. And, sometimes it's sowing a seed into a family where, even before our practices, we take the opportunity to pray for the kids. Mm-hmm. And some of our families in our program, they don't believe what we believe as far as Christians and about Jesus. And so, but we do what we do well. And so they'll let us, like, okay, I trust you guys to pray for them. We don't believe that, but okay. Yeah. But what people can't argue with is when they see the progress, and their kids start to change. Yes. And they can't figure it out. And I just say, it's not me. It's the Lord. Yeah. And that's what I feel like the Lord is teaching me, is that progress over the perfection, being consistent over a period of time in the right environment and seeing that result.
Yeah, and it's so true, whether it's being in sports, or in business and life in general. Share also a little bit around this too, because I think as business owners, we can often compare ourselves with other business owners, particularly if they're working in the same industry. As you said, we look at the Instagram pictures, beautiful offices, all that kind of stuff, but we never get to see the clutter and the chaos going behind the scenes. And you know what? I think it should be a bit more transparent in that way. To go, you know what? It may be good on the surface, but underneath, we're still, struggling as well. When you're thinking about players then, young children, is it similar to, obviously there's various skills that they learn, but each player, looking at them individually, what are some of the gifts and talents that's quite unique to them that you can nurture that too? Similarly in business, I ask that because in business, whilst we may be doing the same industry or the same kind of tasks and offerings that we have to our clients, there's something unique about how we deliver that. Something when once we understand what that uniqueness is, we don't have to compare ourselves to others because God has made us unique in all aspects. And once you understand that with the kids, when you nurture them that way, they can shine, as you said, on and off the field too. Is that something that's important to you? And do you find that as well?
Absolutely. That's what I feel like I do well as a coach. Yes, I feel like I can coach very well, but I feel like God has given me the ability to see the best in someone or kind of like the big picture. So when a player comes to our program and I'll evaluate them or whatever it be, I see a big picture where they could be 10 years down the road, 15 years down the road. Yeah. And sometimes I see that, but then I also forget that there's work to do to help them. It's almost like if you find the diamond in the ground, and you have to wash it off, polish it every day. Wash it off, polish it. And sometimes you don't feel like you're getting anywhere. And that's what I love about what I get the opportunity to do as an entrepreneur is every day is polish the diamond, polish the diamond, polish the diamond. And before you know it, somebody's going to notice and go, man, that's a really shiny diamond.
Yes.
And sometimes when you might not notice it because you're polishing it every day and all you see is the rag. But when you polish the diamond, you polish the diamond, you polish the diamond, before you know it, you look up and it's shining. And we've seen that with a number of players that maybe other people had overlooked and said they're just not the quality that we're looking for, or just even in business. Maybe people have looked at us and said, it's just a soccer program. But what they can't argue with is the consistency of the Lord's hand on us is allowing us to continue to polish people and polish people. And before people know it, they've heard about they're showing up at a church and I don't know why I'm here, but I felt like I needed to try out a church. And so that right there is the reason why I do what I do. Yeah. Because I was that diamond that someone polished and someone prayed for. And I want to be that person to somebody else that polished the diamond and help them to see the best that was in them. So just like it is in business, it's the same thing.
So many golden nuggets in that, using the polishing metaphor. I think what's really important is to continue as we're looking forward, also to remind ourselves of where we've come from. And that is because sometimes, as you say, we can forget how we've grown and learned and developed. And I think as a coach, that's something that you will often remind the kids too when they're struggling. Hey, this is a new skill set, or you're taking it to the next level. Remember where you were and remember what you did to get here. Continue doing that and you'll shine. Even the same in business. If we don't remind ourselves where we've come, how far we've grown, what we've developed, even the small, and I have a saying, celebrating wins, big or small, celebrate them all, because it means you're moving in the right direction. It's important to remember that, isn't it? To celebrate where we've come from and give ourselves, the kids, I always used to do that with my kids, give yourself a pat on the back. That was awesome work. It's important for us to continuously develop, validate, show gratitude, yes?
Yes, absolutely. It's important to remember where you come from. And I look at it and I've seen the people that the Lord has allowed me the opportunity to work with. And it helps me when I go through those tough times and I feel like giving up and I don't feel like it's worth it. And those days when you're questioning if you're good enough to do it, it really helps to look back and to see, you know, the milestones that the Lord has brought you through and the people that he's introduced you to. And it's an amazing opportunity to continually just see the hand of the Lord bring you from one place to another. And before you know it, you look back and you're like, wow, how did I end up here?
Mm-hmm.
And it just reminds you that you couldn't do it by yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And we said at the beginning of the show, one of the things that you said, if it hadn't been for faith and that real trust that what you were doing was really your calling. You said something earlier, and I just wanted to talk about this. You know, I think no matter where we've been placed, whether it be coaching children, whether it be in business, whether it be, and I used to be in the career industry, and I said, I don't care if you are the cleaner. If you've been called to that, do the best you can, because wherever you've been placed, there is a purpose for you. And you don't know how many people you are going to influence if you continue to consistently show up, do a great job, do it with such a positive approach and an attitude that it's, I don't know what you've got, but I want it, you know, and that is just so important. We all contribute to the kingdom. And so, you know, and I say that because sometimes people, again, we compare what industries and what roles we're doing. They're all important. And then I know in the Bible it says, you know, the hand is the hand and the foot is the foot. If we were all ears, if we were all eyes, we'd just not function. So we all play a very important role, whatever it is that we're doing. Let's talk about the formula to results. What is that formula?
Yeah, it's something my mentor taught me, and he's a great guy from California. His name is John Spencer. Yeah. He's a coach, but he's also well known in the soccer industry. And he said this, and he said, Anthony, he wrote it on a board. I went to visit him. And he wrote it on the board, and he said consistency plus time equals results. And it was on the board in his coaching office before one of their major games. And I asked him about it. I said, what does that mean? Mm-hmm. He said, you just got to be consistent over a period plus time. But then I also added to it, and I was like, what about the environment? Mm-hmm. So in business, and also what you're doing, which is phenomenal, you see that I've seen that you've been consistent, keep doing it over time. And you're producing that environment that other people are able to look at and go, wow, she did it. I can do it. Mm. And that's the kind of environment, and that's the plan for what we do with AMR Soccer, but also with any businesses. Find out what you do, be consistent with it. Like you said, if you're the cleaner, being consistent. Are you showing up on time? Do you care about people? Are you there for yourself? Are you there to make someone around you better? That's what we tell our players all the time. The best players on the field are the people that make the people around them better.
Yes.
If you left the field, would the game change? If you came on as a substitute, would the game change? And so that's what the formula is: consistency plus time plus the right environment equals results.
Yeah, I so agree with that. And you know what I love is the attitude and the approach that you bring. You support your players and create an environment in which they can thrive. And that really goes to such a great reminder for all of us that it is in our attitudes and our approach that we can impact the environment. So if we're consistently focused, trust in the Lord, you know, what we're commanded to do, then we can help, we can support and contribute to creating the right environment. That people, our team, staff members, key stakeholders, all of that is so important. I love it because you could have consistency, you could have time, but if you're not in the right environment, you may not grow. Or in some instances, sadly, because you're really in the wrong environment, it actually doesn't allow you to grow at all. It detracts because you're just so worn out. So so important, so important. So when you are creating that right environment, you've already shared, you know, some of the children have just thrived. One of the things I wanted to check in, because sometimes as parents, this is a great reminder, all of my kids are older, but it's such a great reminder to allow our kids to develop, have that consistency, whatever they're being shared by the coach, that's what they need to do over time, and allow them to be in the right environment. Because sometimes as parents, we want them to speed up that process too. Have you noticed that whole success formula, the formula to results, has also enabled the parents to get behind the kids? Because sometimes as parents, we can impact that environment too, can't we? good or bad.
Definitely, definitely. It's something that we've had to, really kind of be consistent with our parents, is allowing them to see results, but then also posting the results on social media.
Yes.
I mean, honestly, in today's society, people love to see the finished product.
Mm-hmm.
But what we really need, as a coach, is to show people the progress.
Yes.
Because the progress is more about helping other people, and because people can understand, like, oh, you make mistakes too? Yeah, I make mistakes. Now here's where I started, and here's where I am now.
Mm-hmm.
Those things help the players to see that you build your own confidence. If you're practicing and training and putting in the extra hours to make yourself a better player, you're using the formula, consistency plus time plus the right environment, you're going to see the results. And those results can a lot of times can be the fuel that drives a person to say, okay, I can do this.
Yeah.
And before you know it, it's no longer the coach or me telling them, hey, I need you to do this, because they've seen their own success and they built their own confidence. And so even, dealing with the opportunity to speak with parents, when we consistently show them the results in the video where they started, they're able to go like, whoa, they're getting a lot better. But more importantly, maybe their attitude has changed.
Yes.
Maybe before they were negative. And the parent says, I don't know what you guys are telling him, but his grades have improved.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that is more important to me than just becoming a great soccer player. Becoming a great soccer player is easy, but becoming a better person is a more difficult process.
Yeah, yeah. You know what I love about the work that you're doing, and it kind of rings true to the other day. My daughter and I, we went out. She took me out to lunch. She shouted me. That, I don't know. Do you have that saying in the US too, where someone pays for you, shouted you to lunch? You didn't shout in my ear, but do you have that saying? Someone shouts you. Do you have that in the
Yeah, like a shout out.
Oh yeah, where they pay for your lunch.
Oh yeah, we say either they just covered you or they provided you lunch. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we have that. We shout someone lunch, and this place had really gives back to the community. And there were 3 different options. And what happens is every month they change, and then you get a little. You place your order, you get a little token, and you're able to select which tub you wanted to put that in. And there was a men's shed, which is for older, more mature men. There was for a cricket club, and then there was for youth, troubled youth. And my daughter said to me, which one did you put it in? I said, I put it in the troubled youth, because they are our future. And I didn't realize that, you can impact a young man, a young men. You work with boys, don't you, in your team?
Yeah, I work with boys. We work with boys and girls.
Yeah, I'm girls. You could impact someone's life that just through a comment. How many young adults now, even my son, he'd say to me, Mum, you'd never guess what. And I said, what? He said, I was at the pharmacy and I met a teacher from school that I hadn't seen in so many years. And he said, I was just thinking about her the other day, because she was always a teacher that I admired. And I was, hoping that one day I would meet her again. And there she was, in the pharmacy. Teachers and coaches, anyone actually as an adult who speaks truth and life into a young man or a young woman's life, can make a significant difference and impact into how they live that life out. So I certainly commend you for the work that you're doing. Let's talk about faith in the middle. What does that mean to you?
It means basically from the start, when you start, you have a lot of energy and you're excited, and sometimes you can even see the end. Mm-hmm. Okay, my goal is to help this player become, I can give you an example, a kid named David Hubbard, who's been with our program since the beginning. And we started training him, and like I said, I saw in him that he could be a college soccer player. Mm-hmm. But maybe other people didn't, but I saw it. I said, you could do this. You could really do this. But the middle is the part where you have to make the decision that you're not going to quit. You're going to have to make the decision that for better or worse, you're going to care about them. The middle is where you're going to have to make a decision that you heard the Lord and you got to stay focused.
Mm-hmm.
And so the middle is where you do a lot of practicing and don't see results.
Yes.
The middle is where you may feel like you have no success or small wins,
Mm-hmm.
and you wanted the large win.
Yeah.
Maybe, for example, could be you wanted to have 50 clients and now you have 10. So that middle part is where I really feel like the Lord develops your character.
Mm-hmm.
He really reminds you that you can't do it without him.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you try, you may succeed. One of my mentors she says this, and I love it. She said, "How high can the Lord take you before he loses you?"
Mm.
And what it means is, when the Lord is taking you higher and allowing you to have more clients or more things,
Mm-hmm.
what's going to be your distraction? How high can he take you before you get distracted off him and start focusing on other things?
Mm-hmm.
And the middle period is where you really have to decide, Lord, I know things are maybe getting better, but I'm still focusing.
Mm-hmm.
Things may be getting worse, but I'm still focusing. And really allowing your personal growth in the middle to be an example for somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
And I really believe that the Lord uses the middle to develop, like I said, develop our character,
Yes.
but then build our persistence.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely agree. I mean, this show has just been full of golden nuggets, Coach Anthony. It's just been such a pleasure to speak with you. It is so true. I think it's right in the middle, as you say, where you're showing up to work every day, you're practicing on the field every single day, but you're not really seeing the results. That is often the time, if we become discouraged and despondent, that, you know what, I've been trying, I'm just going to give up. That is the time where we should really knuckle down, remain even more focused, and have that commitment and the consistency, because it's just, often it's pushing us to the next level, isn't it? And we need to have that, as you said, consistency, that focus, that determination to see us through, which is just fabulous. Anthony, you have just been an absolute goldmine of insights. I think that, as you said, on and off the field, relevant for no matter what age we're at, no matter what stage we're at in our business, in our life, in our career, or if you're a young student who is thinking about playing sport and having dreams of being, on a college football team or soccer team. How can people find out more about you and about the incredible service, program that you run?
Definitely. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook right now. We're redesigning our website at this moment. So you can find us on Instagram. My personal is at Coach A as in Anthony Randolph. And then also you can find our business pages at AMR Soccer Training, mm-hmm. and at AMR Soccer Club, which is our team.
Fantastic.
So that's where you could find us.
Yeah, fabulous. And so we'll put all of those details on the show notes. And we've also recorded this by video and streamed it live onto Facebook while we were recording it. So for those of you who are listening to the audio version, if you would like to see Anthony share his message and testimony via video, and also click through on all of those links. To do that, go to ambitiousentrepreneurnetwork.com/TCE20, ambitiousentrepreneurnetwork.com/TCE20. Are there any last insights that you want to share today, Anthony, before we finish up the show?
One thing that I would just say is keep being consistent. So maybe someone else is feeling that today where they feel like giving up. Keep being consistent. You never know who's watching your life. Mm-hmm. And one thing I want to remind myself is I would hate to be so close but quit so soon. Mm-hmm. And that's my challenge every day, is don't be so close and quit so soon.
Yes.
That's what I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so very much. One of the things that I'm doing for all of my guests is saying a word of prayer before we finish the show. So may I do that for you too, Anthony?
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Thank you, Father, that we could spend some time listening to Anthony's testimony. Lord, the work that he is doing with your youth is just so incredible, to be able to speak into their lives, create an environment in which the young boys and young girls really feel that, hey, maybe it is possible for me too. We just continue to pray a blessing over the program, over him as a coach, over the other coaches that are involved in the program too. We pray for all of the children who are attending, that you will also support them as well as the parents and the wider community. Lord, as we said, we don't know where we are placed, but we do know that it is our calling and it is our purpose that you will bless us in whatever we're doing. Lord, we talked about faith in the middle. Sometimes there are opportunities and sometimes there are challenges and struggles too. We just pray that we're reminded that when we lean into you, when we seek your face, which we should be doing on a daily basis, but just remind us to do that, to slow down and to seek your counsel so that we can continue with strength, with your strength, to move forward and continue the work that you have destined for us. We ask this in the precious name of Jesus. Amen. Thank you so much.
Amen. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for what you do.
My pleasure. You know, you were saying, I mean, this will be the 10th year that I have been podcasting. We started many years ago when there was, negativity in our industry. Back then it was the career industry, and a colleague and I said, we need to speak some hope and possibility into this. And I thought, 10 years later, I thought I want to create a platform where people such as you who really are passionate about the work that you do. And of course, you're passionate about Jesus and, the love that he has for everyone, and sharing that message. And so for me, it's an honor and something that I love to do too. So it's a pleasure to have you and to meet you. So all the very best with your work. Continue, inspiring those young men and young women, and just have loved your story. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You've been listening to the Christian Entrepreneurs Podcast, brought to you by BeTheDifferenceMovement.com. Changing the world one message at a time. Do you feel called to influence real change with your message? Join our supportive community of like-minded influencers, thought leaders, and disruptors at www.BeTheDifferenceMovement.com. That's BeTheDifferenceMovement.com.